What's good, everybody? So today we're going to be taking a look at the man, the myth, the legend, Gacha Smacks, and his thoughts on the new Tower of Adversity in Wuthering Waves, which is the hot topic of conversation at the moment because a lot of people are holding its feet to the fire right now. A lot of people are feeling rather uncomfortable with the current setup and the current gameplay of TOA, me included. Hey, I spent, I think, it's been 3 days trying a bunch of different teams and having a major skill issue and getting schooled by my chat and other creators the past 3 days straight. So it's definitely rustled feathers. I think we could all agree, right? It's 100% rustled some feathers, but we're gonna look at Smack's take because, as we all know, we all trust Smack. Mr. Gacha Smacks, let's go see what he has to say about TOA today.
Is one hell of a nuanced topic. I'm gonna try my best. All right. This is one hell of a nuanced topic. I'm gonna try my best to be as fair, but shoot as straight as I possibly can.
We love that.
Does power creep officially exist in Wuthering Waves? Is HP inflation now a thing in Wuthering Waves? First off, power.
Okay, before he answers, let me give my response to that. Is there power creep in Wuthering Waves? I think every single person has agreed that, like, over time, characters have gotten stronger, or at least the teams that you can now form have gotten stronger, because a lot of people are now actually getting their best teams, right? Like Brant with Looper and then Changli, obviously that's like a new standard of power. With you could have like Chacona and Carter Thea together. Like, best teams are starting to come together and letting people output like a lot more damage. So in that sense, his power of teams like increased, like, to a certain extent, yes, but like no one called it power creep because it didn't matter if like you could still do all the content, right? That was the baseline, but now the content has changed, so now it's different. And has there been HP inflation? It's leveled out over time, but the new addition of the towers 3 and 4, or the floors 3 and 4, that's not HP inflation. And anyone who says that's kind of like dumb, because there's only been one of them. You can't HP inflate something that hasn't existed previously. So until we get another reset, we don't know if this is going to be inflated. But is it harder than the others? Yeah, there's a lot more. There's more to do. There's a reason why it's longer. So let's not be silly.
Power creep has always existed in Wuthering Waves, but it's never been problematic due to the ability to still be able to have skill expression, get good skill to the point where you comfortably clear all in-game content. Let me state and clarify one more time when I view power creep as a problem. It's when the baseline of the game's difficulty has been compromised by HP inflation and then power creep, meaning the newer characters are much stronger than the older characters.
I feel like we could see the point he's about to get at.
Who's very skilled at the game.
I could see the canary is in the mines.
Parrying and all that jazz. And you're still struggling to clear the in-game content. We now have power creep that is problematic. And I think with this latest TOA update and quote unquote.
Okay. So we're saying problematic. Okay, so we're coming in with the perspective of like, that's a negative, right? This is not okay, and this is a problematic power creep. So I guess that's a discussion we're going to be having. Is the TOA problematic, or is it just kind of untuned? I'm coming under the perspective of like it's slightly like not tuned, rather than like this is going to be a problem more than anything else, but we'll see.
Expansion, if you will, has introduced a problematic power creep as well as an HP inflation. Now, we're not going to just talk out the ass here. I'm going to show you a composition in which I mastered, and I spent a number of hours going up against these newer modes in comparison against the composition we all know this mode is designed for based off of how the buff functions. But there really are so many different facets and caveats to cover. It's not just one answer. And so I pray the community known as the community incapable of understanding nuance can understand the
good luck. I honestly, I've seen like a couple of content creators like give like opinions about TOA, and they've been met with like actually like this is going to happen. It will happen. It will happen. There will people who will defend TOA to the absolute death, and there'll be people who do post it to death. We kind of have to expect and prepare that to be the case right now.
fucking nuances of this. First, I want to start off with, my voice sounds a little.
I think like the important thing to mention though is like everybody can be in agreement of like, we just want the game to be in the best state possible. We want the game to be the most fun and enjoyable as it can be. And that's like, should be a universal.
Bit better. I want to start off with the buff. The buff says you gain a 30% heavy attack damage bonus. This obviously doesn't apply to a lot of characters, but this is one character it does apply to. One of my favorite character in the game, Zani. And she's a perfect like case study in comparison to how she's going to perform against somebody like Augusta. Now, you get a shield, you just have to pop your ult, and it's a 4-second internal cooldown. You take 10% less damage, and you get an increase of 16% damage, stacking up to 3 times. That's
a lot.
Which re-triggering it will reset its duration, right? So this is a universal buff. If you ult with anybody, the shield will be applied.
And to me, this is like a mix of it's like the best of both worlds kind of buff, slightly, with the sense of it's a universal buff. So there is something in here for everyone. Every character can get buffed, but there still has that aspect of, hey, if you have these certain characters, or if you a bit of banner shilling, right, you're still able to feel that fun experience and excitement of like having a really powerful character in the newer floors. And I feel like we've just come to like accept that as a norm in like every gacha game. But I think the difference here being that like it's not just a buff that is for one character. There is something for everyone at least. So I'm kind of on the mindset with this kind of buff of if the banner characters are getting a mega like shield buff, just they should be able to like clear things like nobody's fucking business, right? Like that's kind of how it always is.
So long as you don't get hit or the shield stays on you, you get full benefits. It's not like it's only applied to Augusta. It's just easier because Augusta just applies a shield every time she attacks, right? But this is very much so a universal buff with a skill issue attached to it. Well, with that understanding, I've prepared 2 showcases for you guys.
Oh, this will be exciting.
Zani comp and then one with the Augusta.
Zani comp, baby! Okay, we literally just spent 3 days straight. I had to basically relearn how to play Zani and fix her echoes to do this. So I'm like, I'm looking forward to seeing this.
The Zani comp took me 30 fucking tries to get a perfect run. And I do mean it's a damn near as close to possible.
Bro, he like me for real. Wait, is Unk like me for real? Oh shit.
Perfect run. The only time I get hit in the run is intentional hits just to finish my Spectro Frazzle application from the Spectro Rover to place onto Zani to charge her up so she can enter her ult. As you know, there's a lot of micromanaging Spectro Frazzle when you do not have Peep.
True.
And if you're somebody who goes, well, you don't,
I guess
peep,
like, yeah, using River with this is going to be interesting.
How power creep is problematic. I hope you understand that, because you should not have to pull on multiple characters for one character to function. That would be a whole separate problem that contributes to the overall issue here. I do want to be fair though. With maximum skill, you can clear this floor, but with maximum skill, you're not comfortably clearing the floor. And then on the other end of the spectrum, with Augusta,
it's kind of true. It's kind of what I was saying earlier, right? Of like, even people with like BIS teams and SIG weapons on everyone, you're not clearing by like 20-30 seconds. You're clearing by like 5-10. That's how a lot of people are clearing. I feel that's a majority of people who are clearing with like 5-10 seconds. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. I have no proof of that whatsoever. None. Absolutely none.
Augusta, who this is designed for, without her her I am clearing this shit first try, brain dead mode. I did 2 first try runs and had like 50 seconds to spare on the clock. I did not lock in with Augusta on this.
Yeah, Augusta's like piss easy. And my
question,
my Augusta is so badly built. She's so badly built, and she cleared this totally fine first time.
I have 1 minute to spare on the clock. I might even have more than that if I lock in. I was locked the fuck in on the Zani comp. I even tried Camellia, Rochia, and Shorekeeper, and this comp didn't have enough skill expression due to Camelia's spin. Where I'm going with this
My next plan is to do floor 3 with Camellia. Oh my god, I could not for the life of me. I spent so many tries and I couldn't do it. And my Camellia team is like built. She's built. She's fine. It's just like something is just like not happening. Something was just not working right. That'll be the next. That'll be the next attempt.
Is we've reached a baseline compromise to where the HP increase of these two mobs is now a problem for you to like use older squads and still get the full clear time. Do excuse my voice. It's still
I think using the term HP increase, I don't know if that's totally like the most accurate way of saying it. I feel like there's more bosses because like floors 3 and 4 haven't existed before. This is the first time they have been present. You cannot increase HP of something that has never before been seen. I think it's the case of like this is this going to be their new standard of like how much HP these specific bosses are going to have? Is this how long they want the fights to be? Is this how many enemies they want people to fight? I think it's still valid though, because a lot of people have been feeling these bosses are a little bit more, they got a little bit more tank. But are they more tanky? Do they have more HP? Or is it just because the fights are so long?
Covering, it's a lot better. It's a lot better, but it's still recovering. But the rewards, I want to be fair here, as I said. It is only 100 Astrite and 100k and 240. I already know every excuse in the book that a Kudo bot would make. It's only 100 Astrite. Well, get this, guys. I got a funny story for you. At one point in time in HSR, it was only 100 Astrite. Yeah, it was only floor 12.
It was 6. Actually, it's 60 stellar gauge from doing 11 to 12. Okay, so, you know, it wasn't even that much. Yeah, we all shit on it. All of us would constantly shit on Honkai Star Rail, whereas if you did not pull the main character, you could not clear the content. We all did it. We all did the stupid greedy era. We all criticized these games. Stygian Onslaught, Genshin Impact. The top tier reward isn't even Primo Gems. It's literally a temporary cosmetic, and people still get mad, right? Justifiably, for multiple different reasons. So, you know, we have to reset our biases for a minute and just like understand where we are and what we're doing.
That was a problem. Then as time went on, then floor 11 became a problem for free-to-play players and casuals and people who don't spend on every signature and pull on every character. Then floor 10, 11, and 12 became problematic. This is the classic gacha recipe.
With Honkai Star Rail, the answer, it always resorted to the answer was just pull on the banner. Just pull on the banner, it will solve your problem. Because like for HSR, you have like two options, right? You have two options, either like speed tuning, you spend like decades of your life trying to roll on stats and speed tune your characters so that they're to the point where they're freaks of human nature and they're abnormal, or you pull for the new characters. But at least like in WoW, the difference being there are still better ways of being able to mitigate things. That was always the kind of the response to that, right? Like there's more skill expression in WoW. There are better ways to manage yourself. So like it's not exactly like a one-to-one, right? Oh, we complained about this, so we could talk about that. It's not exactly a one-to-one, but I think it's still a fair thing to say that let's just like reset our bias for a minute and just make sure that we're not just like, you know, confirmation bias, so to speak.
Of introducing power creep, there's always going to eventually be a power creep problem. It's only a matter of when, and when it does occur, it's always a very slow ramp up. Now, I do want to say something else here, and that is, how many signature weapons do I have on this team? I have Zani Sig, I have Rover using Cheng Li Sig, I have Shorekeeper using her Sig, and I think had 10 seconds to spare before failing the run on a comp with perfect rotations.
That is the thing. I think everyone's had this feeling for a while that SIGs are so important, especially for like main carries. You really want your SIGs. And I mentioned this like earlier too, of the fact that vertical investment seems to be something that Wuthering Waves or Kuro is incentivizing. There's a reason why getting the weapon is guaranteed. There's a reason why you're able to very easily get a few dupes of your characters in the shop, right? They kind of encourage it. They encourage you to vertical invest in the team, and it seems, at least from my experience, it does seem to be like a benefit to that vertical investment in Wua. Having a solid team, like a very solid like BIS team with solid investment will go a long way compared to having, you know, characters that you can't complete teams with, that don't feel right, or not really thinking about like what you're pulling for. I think we're definitely at a time where like actually being more careful in what, especially this is for a free to play or like low spender sort of thing, there's gonna come a point now where like actually you really should take people's advice on what to pull for. Maybe take that into consideration if doing endgame and completing it is something you really care about. We're at a time now where actually we need to like pay more attention, and people's opinions and influence is going to become more valuable, because that vertical investment is actually going to be quite important, and how you spend your asteroids is going to matter. So it's definitely something to watch out for.
And optimizations up here, signature, and actually struggled to clear. I didn't clear with this comp. I didn't clear, but I didn't go as hard on this comp as I did with this. But that's my whole entire argument. Now, another thing I checked out is the Wallenstein channel, because this guy is looked at as like,
this guy's a freak,
the best Wuthering Waves player in the world. I think he's just one of many people who know how to play the game on the highest level. But if we take you guys at face value and we give this dude that title, he's using a free-to-play team with some caveats. He's got a signature weapon on her. He's got Shorekeeper's signature weapon, and then he's got a free-to-play Emerald of Genesis on Sanhua. That said, very impressive run. But if we take the very best player in the world, if that's the title you guys want to give him, that is
the best player in the world. It's crazy.
Seconds, which means it's a 14-second to spare time before failing the run. This is the prime example of what I'm referencing. The best players that play this game aren't even comfortably clearing this tower with maximum skill expression and max investment.
Well, chat, out of curiosity, what is comfortable clears for you? To me, like, that kind of says like I'd say like with 30 seconds to spare is a very comfortable clear. That's a very comfortable clear. To me, like, scraping by is like 5 to 10 seconds. Like 5 to 10 seems to be like what I seem to be like, we're kind of scraping. 30 seconds is like, that's very comfortable. You guys look at the timer. Okay, great.
That guy's Havoc Rover is cracked. 322 crit damage. Like I said, Sig on her, Sig on shore. We're talking about
I don't even have, I have an S0 Shorekeeper. I don't even have a Sig. I'm still using variation on my Shorekeeper, by the way. Like I'm not, just to put it out there, my Zanny, I have weapon on her. I don't even have a Sig on Shorekeeper. I do have Peeps though, which is important, I guess.
With maximum skill poured into the game, and we're barely clearing. Whereas Augusta and Mortef are clearing with a minute left on the clock, or even more if you take the same maximal skill and apply it to that. There's no denying that HP inflation and power creep combined have been introduced.
Am I crazy that I kind of like that?
Let's take a look.
Wait, am I crazy? Like I said earlier, I always liked the idea of if you get the banner character, the buffs will absolutely benefit you and you could steamroll content and have like fun. To me, that's like, from a marketing perspective from Kuro, you want people to feel really good after you have maybe spent money on a character. So of course, making them like giga powerful in that moment is a good idea. I see nothing wrong with that personally, so long as everybody else doesn't like suffer for it like forever, right? And the fact that the universal buff has both, where like you could feel like a god using the character you might have just bought and spent money on, but then still have like something there to help other characters, I think is good. I think the buff itself is just like so much of a switch up for people of like, it's a skill issue buff that it's throwing people off entirely, right? But I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing that like one team and characters very shield. I think that's great. Hey, if I'm spending money on a character, let me feel really good for at least a couple weeks, you know what I mean? You have just taken my money, you know, so I get it. Augusta without this buff is actually fucking bad, by the way. Wait, is it actually? Wait, for real? Use Augusta in Hazard Floor 1 and 2 right now. Your clear will be dog shit. And that's kind of the point, right? That's kind of the point. I have nothing against buffs that mega shill a character right now. Use her guess. Okay, we'll use it. We'll try it out later. We'll try her out later. But yeah, I'm totally for this idea of like making characters super busted. I'm talking about 3 and 4 in particular of Hazard, right? I'm down for that. Because as you know, every time they reset and we get a new TOA, it completely changes. Do we all remember when Zanny first came out? I can't remember what it was, but Zanny first came out, everyone was like, oh my god, she's so strong. She's so strong on this TOA. And in my head, I kept thinking like, yeah, it's like, yes, it's shield for her, 100%. But then the next TOA reset, people were like barely clearing. Who's Zanny? Does anyone remember that? Does anyone remember that? And everyone was like so quiet about it. And like, I don't mind that personally. It's like, yeah, make them fucking busted when they come out. I spend fucking money.
At my showcases now, this will be a bit lengthy only because that's how long the fights are. It will be a bit lengthy. You will enjoy it if you're a Zani player because I'm just doing everything the way you're supposed to be doing it. All the swap backing and all that shit.
Oh, really? And, so the passive mega shield in 3/4? Like I just said, right? I don't mind its shield for Augusta right now, so long as there is a mechanic in place that help other people too. I really think it's just due to the fact it's a skill issue mechanic that's like hurting people or making it a lot more difficult and putting people's feet to the fire, right? That I don't mind. Because the next reset, it's going to be something different. There'll always be a shield for the banner. I'm okay with that, but there is something else for people.
And then I'll show the Augusta showcase that's just pretty, you know, it was first try, so I was just like, yeah.
And especially because like it's like heavy attack, so any character with heavy attack, so Zanny can get buffed too, right? Gion gets buffed. It's not just Augusta that only benefits. There are other characters who get like, every character will get the don't dodge, well, just dodge buff, right? If you're skilling, right? And then there are some characters who get the heavy attack bonus, and then there is one character who benefits from all 3, including the shield buff stack, which is Augusta. So there's one character that benefits from like 3 different buffs, and there is like a couple characters that benefit from 2, right? And everyone benefits from 1. And I find that's okay inherently as like a system. I don't particularly mind that because it still gives you options, right? It still gives you options.
Hey.
Moment of resonance.
Give me your word.
Oh, here we go.
No hesitation.
In war with time.
Let's comment on his gameplay, shall we, chat? I'm not one to do that. I am in no position to critique other people's gameplay. I'm in no position to critique other people's gameplay.
The end has come.
All of you at once. I don't do overtime. Reduce to dust.
I sense your weakness.
Come on. All yours. Reduce to dust.
Ordained. I engraft you new. Loading.
Swift and resolute. Strike from the shadows. The hour is upon us.
Shut. I can spare a minute too. No.
You would not bro, you would have to pay me to use this team, by the way.
All yours.
Bro, you have to pay me to use this team. I swear to God.
Now I have a report to write.
Oath from the heart. Loading. Astral modulation.
Swift and resolute. No hesitation.
This Zanny character is so dog shit. It's unbelievable. Wait, do you not like Zanny? Wait, are you not a Zanny fan? Like I would never recommend someone to pull for Zanny. Like I genuinely wouldn't recommend to for her to be pulled on unless you're willing to actually get peeved. It's not. I generally don't think it's worth it. Like I really don't think it's worth it at all.
In my way.
He only likes Tian.
Ordained. Loading. In war with time.
Swift and resolute.
Like I literally never use Zanny for anything.
The hour is upon us.
Already have Peeve just play her DPS while I even pull this trash unit. Bro really hates her. Oh my god.
All yours.
Wait, say you hate her so bad. I kind of like her in Weewa though. She's not terrible. I prefer, like, I don't know. I've always like liked her when I played Weewa.
Astral modulation.
Swift and resolute. The end has come.
Shut.
Holy shit,
I
bro.
don't have all day. Come at me. Reduce to dust.
Strike from the shadows.
Damn. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah, I mean it was good.
Anything I can help you with?
And everyone was saying that she like breaks the game when she came out, by the way. Everyone was saying that she breaks the game. Now a lot of people are like, yeah, we don't fucking use her.
I'll be there for
It's so funny how things change,
head
huh?
toward our shared future.
It's so funny how reality hits people. It's damn.
Understood. I am here to serve your will.
Yeah, that crit damage is wild. Just do Maggie's rotation on the Humpy Lumen, bro. You're such a shithead, dude. Saying you're such
Now,
such
boys,
a
that
shitster.
Zani comp with that level of skill expression before this update was a sub 1 minute clear time on a boss. No, it easily sub 1 minute clear time on a boss. Probably 50-second clear time on a boss. So when you look at that performance there and you see that it took me more than 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 20 seconds actually to clear both bosses, that is objective evidence of HP inflation. I made use of the shield on my Zani.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I don't know. I don't know if I like that usage though of the word HP inflation. I don't know if that use of verbiage doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make me feel good. Like that's, again, you can't HP inflate something that like, you can't HP inflate something that hasn't existed before. And two, we need to take into account like the buffs. Like you need to take into account the buffs.
To do all of her ults. That shield
HP inflation and number of enemies. Yeah, you fight. There's more enemies. There's 100. Okay, don't get me wrong. So I'm not gonna mince words. There's 100% more enemies to fight, right? But I don't know if we could say for sure that their numbers are inflated compared to like if they were on like floors 1 and 2. We can't necessarily say that. Like we don't know that for sure yet.
was never not on her when she was popping.
It's just a
off
longer
her.
fight. There is more to kill.
So I made use
the
of
time
the
to kill
buff
is
that
longer.
they provided to circumvent HP inflation, and I still did not comfortably clear that tower. This is just something I want to make sure people are aware of abundantly. You cannot deny
the floor 3 light crusher
HP
is
inflation
a pain.
absolutely exists. Power creep absolutely exists. I want to just play Augusta's run in the background. I don't think it's something worth watching. I didn't like get sweaty on it, so it's not like a perfect run with perfect rotations and swap
Everyone
backs.
stop getting sweaty.
Just
You need
watch
to
it in
shower.
the background and watch the time completion. I'm just like doing my thing first try, by the way. But I do want to mention the vigor cost, right? We got 2 new floors, but the vigor cost remains intact. And so this is a big problem. For
Vigor is
players.
shit.
And
Vigor is shit. I feel like having 5 vigor for like all 4 of them each is kind of like ass. That I do agree with. I think changing the cost now for these floors, I think is okay. I don't see any reason not to. That's my thing. Like I can't think of any argument against why that just wouldn't be a better player experience. That's my only reason why I'm okay with it. I just can't think of a reason why we would want to keep it the same versus changing it.
and people who don't spend a lot of money on the game, you don't have signatures. If you use my Zani comp, no SIGs on Zani and freaking Spectral Rover and Storekeeper. Oh, brother, you that 10 seconds remaining on the clock, you kiss that goodbye. You ain't getting that 3-star clear. And once again, you might be thinking to yourself, well, it's just 100 astrite. Gacha games never give them a fucking inch on this stuff because it starts off that way and then it ramps up more and more. And if you let them get away with it, it's just going to get worse. It always does. Why? It's very simple. Once they start fully fleshing out rosters, right? The game's been out for over a year. You now have your fire teams, your spectro teams, ice.
That's also kind of a thing with Wuthering Waves, right? Wilbur's always kind of done this thing where they might release like supports before a main DPS, right? Like they'll release like Cantarella and she doesn't really have anyone that works with her. And then like months later, it's like, oh, Frolova. You know what I mean? Like that happens a lot. Like Chukona before Carter's Thea. The supports come before like the DPSs. And now we're only finally having like mono teams. First it was mono Spectra with Zanny, right? And then it was with Carter's Thea and Aero. And then it's with Fusion, with Lupa. Those teams are with everyone with their best in slots and their SIGs. They're going to be doing more damage than like flex teams. That's just how it will work. And we're at the point now where the game's been out long enough where there is a ceiling. There is new ceilings. It is how it is, right? It is what it is. And that this is the response, is to like make harder content for people who have like teams. It's how these games always do. They always release new stuff after like a year and a half, and they will keep adding more things as time goes on or make it harder. It happens with every single gacha, and I'll be curious to see how Kuro decides to handle this. I guess you could use like PGR as like a reference sheet for what they might do, but you know, that's a different conversation.
Teams, Havoc teams. When they start releasing characters of the same elements, you have little incentive to pull on them because, well, what the fuck would I pull on them for? I can clear all content just fine. That's the mentality a lot of people have. So these gacha devs go, we raise the HP and we introduce power.
Yeah, you don't want they do a PGR. Yeah, no, the PGR is like every character is power creep. That's the PGR way. We don't want that in Muwa. That's why it kind of makes me nervous.
Powerful units, they're going to be incentivized to pull on the newer units. It's a tale as old as time in this space. And that's how it becomes a problem. That baseline gets compromised. This is the first cheek shown by the company. Now, do I think it's worth like going up in arms and putting your pitchforks out about it? Y'all could go for it, sure, but
I don't think it existing is inherently like wrong or bad, right? I don't think it existing is a bad thing. I really think it kind of lives or dies by the buffs that it gives. That's really it. The HP of the bosses and the buffs that they give people. It lives and dies by that. It inherently being more difficult, I think it's fine. Because there were so many people who were clearing with like minutes to spare on like non-shield teams on like floors 1 and 2 of Hazard. Maybe not minutes, but like 30 seconds to spare. I think it's fine to introduce harder floors. I always use TOA as a test of like, have I built my character today? Yes or no. I have. Okay, great. I can do it comfortably fine. So I'm not against it existing. It just lives and dies by the buffs that it gives.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just something I want to point out, to be aware of, to be conscious of, and take note of it as time progresses, because these gacha companies are slick as fuck at doing it very, very slowly and surely. And I'll be
like,
real.
What was one opinion that a lot of people shared throughout TOA? It's kind of boring. It's not really much of a challenge. A lot of people had that feeling that it wasn't challenging enough. That was feedback a lot of people gave, that TOA is just kind of boring. TOA is kind of boring, and people initially didn't like that they made attribute specific buffs, right? But they've gotten rid of that. They kind of went back and they've made it more interesting, if you want to call it interesting, right? So I feel like they have kind of played into some feedback that they've gotten to some degree. So that's why I'm not against existing. I think it's silly to hate it just because it's there, but I think it's fair to criticize it for what it is offering and putting out, aka buffs, aka the enemies and the movesets that they do. All valid things to critique.
Didn't even say this or show this on stream or on recording yet, but the Whimpering Waste, I noticed it was a similar trend. I tried it off stream with my Camellia.
God, get me started on WeWa. Don't get me started on a dog shit mode where tokens you don't use fucking 90% of them. It's bugged to hell every single. Don't get me started. I hate that mode.
Literally very much
I hate it. I get so happy when I finish it, not because I've done it and I get a completionist like surge of dopamine. I don't have to do the fucking thing for weeks. Oh shit.
2,500 points. Another signal. Now, it's on the very final floor only where I run into these problems, but it's still been slowly introduced into the game. And so I confidently and honestly can say Wuthering Waves and Kudo Games has ripped a page straight out of Hoyo versus book from Honkai Star Rail, and they have introduced
I think that's a bit disingenuous. It's more I don't think it's to say they ripped a page out of like Hoyoverse is crazy. Do you know what it's more like? It's like you're taking an exam, right? You're in an exam or taking an exam and you're like trying to peek at what's the answers of someone else and you're like copying something incorrectly. Like that's the extent of like taking a page out of a book. Like we ain't ripping it out and putting it in another game. Like Honkai Star Rail's like very Honkai Star Rail. You had to get the characters. That was the problem. Either insane amounts of speed tuning or get the characters. It's not quite that in WUA. So saying it's like ripped a page out, knowing how much people really give flack for Hoyoverse, I don't think is a good comparison to make. I think it's a bit of an unfair one. I understand what he's trying to say, but I think going that far is kind of crazy.
A similar fashion as HSR's MOC format. These older units have absolutely fallen off in power, which I have noticed for some time, but once again, it was never a problem because the baseline was fine.
This is such a nuanced conversation. There's such a nuanced conversation. Are older characters aren't as powerful as new ones? To some degree, yes. But then you have things like Gion who could still clear, but his issues aren't in necessarily the power that he's able to deal. It's how he physically outputs it, right? Like you all in like Lampy Lumen, and then Lampy Lumen runs away and you can't do shit about it, right? You just have to fucking waste your ult. That's bad. Newer characters, if Gion was released today, they would give him shit where like he doesn't have to lose out on DPS like that. Like yes, there are definitely things, but I don't think inherently like the damage they give is like so much like worse. But there's definitely like there is definitely a change that no one could deny. There is a shift.
We now see that first sign of that baseline raised, and now those older units that have fallen off have now started to show their weaknesses. Augusta is
I think a good point though is like a better point to make is talking about weapons and talking about, yeah, actually we do need weapons. Like weapons are kind of like a lot more important and hold way more value than people might have thought, or the average person might have thought. And that has a pull value. That's like a kind of power creep in a sense, right? Something else additionally you have to pull for. That's a good conversation to have, I think. I think talking about older teams is going to be kind of like sketchy until we get more like information of like the new 3 and 4 floors as they reset.
Freakishly fucking strong, man. I mean, she like does a Griffin slam for like 250k. It's like, bro, what? And then she does her ult, slicing for 35 to 40k, boom, 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 and then ults for 300k. Like during this shit, it's just like the amount of damage she's doing effortlessly is just a blatant power creep slap.
If he's saying that based on like the floors 3 and 4, where like she gets like every single buff available to her, and saying that's power creep, like that's not a cook. That's not a cook. Like we could only say that the next reset when we try her and she's ass. Like, if Augusta is ass on the current... If Augusta's shit on floors like 1 or 2 right now... You know what I mean? Like, what are we saying? Yes, she was really good on a shield tower where she have all the buff available to her. That's a good thing. Bro, people paid money for her. They better hope, like, some part of TOA is good. Maybe that's gonna be the new meta, right? Floors... TOA on release, right? It resets. It favors the current like banner character, right? It comes out, you've got the banner character, it favors them floors 1 and 2. The next reset, that previous banner character now favors like floors 3 and 4. And then the floors 1 and 2 will be favored for whoever's on right now. That's probably how they're gonna do this, right? So to making sure that you feel good because you spent, after a number of weeks, money on your character, I think that's fine. But as long as they can keep up after that time period, that month or 2 afterwards, that's where it matters, right? But saying that like it's power creep because she's fucking insane right now, I don't think it's fair.
In the face, you know what I mean? So I think this is something worth being aware of. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is if you do want to clear this tower and you are struggling, you absolutely have to manage your side floors with like, you have to be quite frugal.
The bigger discussion, right? I think, like is definitely fine and valid. 100%.
Kung Fu Panda, Calcharo, and then I use the Zani team right here. You can even be more frugal than this. You could do just one character here.
Yes, but wouldn't this kind of shilling be a problem though? No, I don't think it's a problem at all. It's only a problem if you can only clear with the shield character that round. That's when it's a problem. That's when it's a problem. But other than that, no, I don't think making you feel really powerful for a shield character is a bad thing initially.
The other side, it's, you know, the masochists with Kung Fu Panda, Calcharo, and then these two. Like, and you'll notice the one redeeming quality about that 2 new floors introduced is you find a use for the older teams. The older DPS teams, you could put them on the side floors. But if you're somebody who just now got into the game, you're not going to have Yao or Yinlin, right? And so you're going to be using some weird ass wonky shit and struggling even further. This is
okay, but like new people who are new to the game aren't going to be doing hazard tower. People that are new to the game aren't going to be playing for 2 months and then being able to do all the end game. It takes months of building and preparation and building up your characters, and at that point along the way you will be picking up new characters that are coming out on the banners who would be able to keep up with what you're doing with, right? Like it's not like an immediate thing.
Is way more of a problem.
New people need to play the fucking game first. New people need to complete the fucking game. Like they ain't going in with like a Yin Lin. A new player isn't going in with a Yin Lin and a fucking Havoc Rover and a TOA. You know, that's not happening. They're going in with like Augusta. New players are going in with Augusta and Frolova and fucking whoever's coming, Cartathea, maybe, you know, like let's, you know,
and casuals than it is for veterans.
I will say, if we want to talk about like power creep, like Cartathea is just the only must pull character I'll tell everyone to get. Maybe apart from Shorekeeper. Like Cartathea, bro. I just use her to solo the first 2 floors of Hazard. S0 R1. She just solos both of them. She's literally the only must pull character in the fucking game.
Our accounts are fully fleshed out. I'm using 3 different team comps here, right? So it's not even a big of an issue to me. But, you know, you guys, you don't have that horizontal investment, and so you're going to be fucking cooked. A whole year, more than a whole year has gone by. This TOA has received fuck all for buffs or updates, and the update they finally do is just the exact same shit. 2 new floors, increase the HP. It's a classic Hoyo tale, bro.
This is just the part that I just don't agree with. I just really don't agree. Bro, I feel like I'm being radicalized to praise the new TOA update. Low-key, what Smack is saying is literally making me want to disagree with him. I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of like emotion I'm feeling right now. I'm getting defensive. I must praise Kuro Games. I'm feeling it in my soul, but I'm not going to do it. But I understand. No, I understand where the sentiment is coming from, but it's not ripping a page out. It's not copying. It's more like looking over it, trying to copy what they're doing, but like you're fucking it up. It's definitely has an underlying sentiment, but I just think purely because the buffs that help everyone exist just inherently means that it's not the same.
Increase the HP, make the newer units stronger, and do the exact same shit we've already been doing. I mean, like, brother, if this was your update after a whole goddamn
I think it needs
year,
tuning.
and I'm supposed to be impressed or
I think it's a tuning. It's a skill check creep. Yeah, because like it will favor you. You'll be able to utilize the buffs if you have skill check. That's one of the things that people critique TOA for, that it became a rotation masher and not something where you had to like indulge in your skill expressions. I had this feeling for so long. I was writing a whole video about this. I'm now going to have to change my whole script saying that TOA has been missing what made it different from Genshin, which is reactivity and player reactivity and input, your dodges, your parries, needing more of them. And then they literally come out with an update where it rewards you for doing that. Is it difficult? Yeah, but they're doing it. And it literally eliminated a critique that I had about TOA. So like that kind of makes me happy. So to be told that like it's a bad thing because it's copying Hoyo, it's like, wait, why are we missing the thing that's actually making this interesting? Like the update has its flaws, it has a tuning problem, but there's things in here that actually make it like good and what separated it from these other games. It's a mix of both. I don't think it's as clear cut as they copied it's bad. I don't like this. I don't like the sentiment. I don't.
Sorry,
call me a Kurobot.
Yeah, it's a whole pack of ass, as Joe Button would say. That's gonna wrap up my thoughts. I look forward to anybody getting upset
Kuro
at me,
literally made me eat my words about how I like TOA.
Peace, love, and happiness, boys. Hopefully my voice is returning. Hopefully it's almost completely returned by tomorrow. Thank you guys in the comment section that were recommending ginger tea with the lemon and honey. I've been listening to you guys like wholeheartedly. Shout out to the Asian friend. Shout out to the other guy that was talking about ginger ale. I've been doing it all, man. But yeah, I'm out, man. Thank you guys again.
Well, W Smack, listen, I have like all the respect for Smack in the world. Oh, it's my video. 21K? Damn. Am I relevant? I respect Smack so much. I just think he brings up valid points that I feel the sentiments of and I understand. I just think his wording and use of language here is going to like incite people to feel a certain way, kind of like how I felt. There are just comparisons here that I flat out don't think I just don't agree with. I just straight up don't agree with how like saying it's a direct copy from Hoyo is crazy. Saying it's HP inflation is like there's no proof of that just yet. There's a lot of things here that I don't know if I fully get behind, and I think it's kind of the wrong message to put out, because don't get me wrong, there are 100% things that Kuro could do to make this better. 100%. The moves of the fucking bosses, we could talk about HP for sure. The Vega system is a valid conversation to have, but to say that its existence is a bad thing, which is kind of how he concluded this, right? He concluded it by saying its whole implementation is bad. He generalized it to that. I don't think is okay, because there are things in here which do make it interesting. So I'm not really too sure what the deal is, to be honest. I'm not here to start a controversy. I'm not too sure what the deal is with this one, but hey, interesting nonetheless. I enjoyed listening to the different points, so I guess that's kind of my take. And if you want to come shout at me about it and say that I'm wrong, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to call me a Kuro shell, fuck it, whatever, I don't care. Or you can come to my stream, twitch.tv Cabinetz. I'm live almost every single day. You can shout at me in person, and we'll have a great time. It'll be fun. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Twitch.tv/Captain Cabinetz, Captain Cabinetz.